성경은 가정과 그 영향력에 대한 이야기로 가득합니다. 폭스뉴스 앵커인 셰넌 브림이 최근 발간한 저서 성경의 어머니들과 딸들이 말한다에서 성경 속 가정의 이야기를 집중적으로 다루었는데요. 그녀는 어머니의 신앙이 자신이 오늘날까지도 추구하는 기준을 만들었다고 밝혔습니다. 믿음을 갖는다는 건 무슨 의미일까요? 셰넌 브림은 신간에서 성경의 어머니들과 딸들을 통해 그 의미를 탐구합니다.
There are certainly truths all throughout the book that I think will be encouraging to people.
성경의 어머니들과 딸들이 말한다는 그녀의 전작인 성경의 여성들이 말한다가 뉴욕타임즈 베스트셀러 1위에 오르는 성공에 힘입어 출간됐습니다.
You know, I think that there was a real hunger and thirst, especially during the pandemic, which is when the first book was written in the real early days when there was so much we didn't know. People felt isolated, they were fearful, many of them were out of their churches and kind of at home. And I think it was one of those books that it was just full of encouragement and inspiration. If you think about finances and family and infertility and all of these different things that women faced, they just really translated. So we knew there were still a lot of strong female stories in the Bible that hadn't been told or needed to be elaborated on. So we said, all right, let's plunge into these mother-daughter relationships.
브림은 성경의 많은 여성들 가운데 일부를 선정하는 건 쉽지 않은 작업이었다고 말했습니다.
I think sometimes there are easy, obvious ones, like Mary, the mother of Jesus, and in the Old Testament telling of Esther. I think that there are some characters that just jump out at you that have had really big impact. Their stories have been known over time, even for people who don't really know the Bible. They have some interest or some knowledge of their stories. And then others, I think, I try to choose ones that really resonate with me. Some of these are really small stories where we don't even have the name of the woman involved, but maybe there was a miracle or we really saw God's work in their lives when they were desperate and needed him to show up. You know, I have a little place in my heart for all of them. I think they're all special and beautiful. I love the initial story that we have of Jochebed and Miriam, who are the mother of Moses and the sister of Moses, because we have not just one, but two strong, brave women in this story. And I love how we see them work together as mother and daughter too.
모세와 미리암은 이스라엘 민족이 이집트에서 약속의 땅으로 떠나는데 중요한 역할을 합니다. 그러나 이 일은 갓난 아들을 강 위에 떠나려 보낸 어머니 요게벳의 용기가 없었다면 불가능했습니다. 책의 또 다른 주제는 가정과 신앙 사이에 밀접한 연관성이 있다는 것입니다.
And so many of these stories, too, are people who may not be related by blood, but they become chosen or found family, which I think is all of us coming into the body of Christ, being adopted in. And I love the picture of that.
나오미와 룻은 고부 관계였습니다. 브림은 자신에게는 어머니가 영감을 주는 사람이라고 밝혔습니다.
I was really blessed to grow up with a mom who was a bit of a baby Christian when I was little, too. And we almost kind of grew together. In that she is the best example I know in my life of somebody who's truly Christ-like. I mean, hands and feet, showing up, not just saying, I'll pray for you and forgetting about it 5 minutes later. I mean, she's on her knees before the sun comes up, praying for people. If you're on her list, it's actually happening. She's the first one to show up when you have a tragedy, if you need a casserole, if you've had a baby, if you're in the hospital. I mean, my mom is the very living embodiment of what we should be, I think, as Christians, respecting other people, whether we agree or disagree with them politically or any other way. I mean, seeing them as God's creation and somebody who is worthy of his love and his mercy, the grace he's extended to us, and then we then, model that and give that to other people in our lives. So I've always had a really strong example in my mom, and I'm always telling her when I grow up one day, I want to be more like you. Really, she's reflecting Christ, but I'd love to be more like her as well.
그녀는 독자들이 책을 통해 궁극적으로 예수님을 알게 되길 바란다고 전했습니다.
I hope it's encouragement. I really hope that will draw them to God to see that he is for you in your family squabbles, in your high moments, in your low moments, when you've made bad decisions or good decisions. I mean, he is always present in your life. We see that in these women thousands of years ago, and we know it's true today, that we can see the evidence of that. So know that he came to save, not to condemn, but to give you his overwhelming love, his salvation. And he's just waiting for you to come to him